You ever wonder why things that you practice when you get on a gig and you go to play live, they don't always work out the way that you thought they would? Well, today we're going to talk about that. Um, and it's pretty simple. And we'll also talk about how to alleviate that problem and also how to practice. So, guys, things don't come out live the way they do in the practice room because there are different elements involved. Totally two different situations. In the practice room, everything is controlled. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can stop, you can think, you can repeat, you can fix things. On the gig, there's no time for that. You're listening to everything else going on. You're reacting. You're dealing with adrenaline and spur of the moment. So, yeah, that's why those things happen. If you're still thinking about what to play, then you're doomed at that point. Um, Practice is really just food. You don't practice so things come out the same. You practice so that they become part of you. Like you internalize what you practice, so that when you get on the bandstand, you're not thinking about it. You can go for it, and you have the confidence that you've been doing something enough inside of a room that when you get outside to play, it's just in you. You just have it. So, and I think that's when the music starts to feel the best, when we're not thinking and we're just reacting to what's going on around us. So, I teach a lot, and a lot of times, a lot of the ways that you learn affects why things might not come out live the way that you want them to. So, one of the biggest tips I can give you is when you're practicing in a room and something is going wrong, don't keep practicing at the same speed. Slow down. I teach out of Jim Chapin, so I tell guys, hey, if you make a mistake, slow down. Go back and slow down. We can always speed up, but you need to understand what the mistake was that you were making. That way, you can be better. You can go and do it again, and it's not a big problem. But a lot of times the mentality is like, I have to get it at this tempo. No, guys, you don't have to get it at that tempo. Slow it down, refine it, then speed it up. These are like the most common things that I see a lot of times, and I think if we just took a second, we kind of back up from all of the stuff that we see on YouTube and Instagram. You see everybody flying around. You know, that's that's them. You have to understand who you are and what level you're at and where you're trying to get to. And I think that's the most important thing. So that's why I wanted to make this clip today talking about this topic, because I think it's something that we all struggle with. I know I still do. I think it's something that you'll struggle with for the rest of your playing career. Hopefully, because that's what will drive you, that's what will inspire you to be better. So, once again, if what you're practicing is not coming out live, that's okay. That's okay for the moment. But figure out why it's not coming out live. Figure out what you're doing wrong so that when you do go to play live, you can feel comfortable and confident. And like I said, there's so many other factors involved that in a practice room, you're not thinking about, oh my God, is this guy going to take another chorus, or did they turn the beat around, or all of these things. And, we'll address all of those in coming episodes of Hutch Drum Channel. You guys like my new drum channel? I call it the Hutch Drum Channel. I kind of like that. A lot of time going through a lot of different books, or you're going to spend quality time going through one book at a time. Often, I think we try to take on too much. Why not study one book and really master that book before you move on to the next book? I've been using Jim Chapin since I was 12 years old. I studied with Marvin Smitty Smith, Kenny Washington, and I grew up around Lewis Nash, Jeff Tain Watts. Had the pleasure of hanging out with Art Taylor, Elvin Jones, Tony Blakey, and practice habits are super important. But I realized from the very beginning, from studying with those guys, that with Kenny, we went through Chapin. Um, with Smitty, I went through Chapin. And funny, with Kenny, I didn't touch the drum set till like the very last lessons. Everything we did was pretty much Wilcoxon, which is a great book, by the way. So I had to develop the patience. You know, that's something that a lot of people don't have when they practice. The patience to go through a book and to learn it and to master it, and to really understand the ins and outs of Chapin. So now I teach out of Chapin, and there's so many different levels that you can reach through Chapin. Once you go through the book the way it is, then I take you through Jim Chapin on another journey on the way that I've developed myself. So studying slowly, um, studying in a way that allows you to grow and to understand what you're practicing, that is pivotal to becoming a better musician. And in this case, we're talking about a better drummer. So, yeah, you know, you have to, I think if you take on too many things, it doesn't work out. But if you take on one book at a time, and you can get through different books, um, but one thing at a time will lead you to the road that you're trying to get to. It'll give you the end result that you want, which is to be a fine musician, one who understands not only the moments, but the different genres of music that you're playing. So all of these things are super important. But if you rush, nothing is achieved. Thanks, guys.